Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Take It to the Hizzy Fantasy Basketball, TITTH number 117. I'm your host, Justin Bruni. I got Nick Davis with me tonight. He's filling in for some of the basketball guys. How we doing, Nick?
So, man, glad to be filling in. Glad to be talking basketball. I got a little bit on a roll before we got on camera about the Wizards. I was like, oh, man, I got to slow down. We're talking basketball tonight. So, yeah, just fun to be glad to be here and glad to be talking basketball.
Yep, appreciate you clocking in this evening. We had a little shift in schedule this week. We wanted to, shoot the show, more games, on Thursday than Wednesday night that we're typically shooting on. So missing, Blake, Steve, and Tommy. Hope to see you guys back next week. But me and Nick are going to keep it real tonight and jump into some game previews. But you mentioned your Wizards. How are they doing? I know they kicked off last night, the second half of the season, but they were like 8-2 coming into the second half. They're on fire.
Well, they were on fire, and then in their last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games, they're 4-3, or
Right.
3-4. So they've been sliding a little bit, 500 ball. But last night I got a bone to pick with them. All right, okay, because I went through the box score and I'm really disappointed. I actually recorded this game and I might just delete it.
Oh snap! Recording games and everything.
Well, yeah, because I do love my Wizards, and I kind of the way I feel about them is the way I felt about the Washington football team before they changed their name. But anyway,
are the Wizards on the clock? Are you going to be seeking out a new team soon, like in the NFL?
No. I'm good.
No?
I'm good. I like the Wizards. I'm okay with them.
All right.
I don't hate their owner like I do Dan Snyder. Anyway,
Fair enough.
So we did not have a guy over 6 rebounds last night, and everybody on Twitter was frying me up because I was saying, we need a big man, we got to do something about this. I don't care what anyone says about Robin Lopez, if you have a rebounder on your team, he's a great guy to have to stretch the floor in a different way. But we don't. Right. We have so many guys stretching the floor. Everybody's at the free throw or 3-point line. So
sure.
We're really depending on our guards to rebound. Like Russell Westbrook, he had an off night in rebounding. But the one thing that really blows my mind is they had the Memphis Grizzlies had 30 rebounds between Jonas Valanciunas and Brandon Clark. That is absolute.
Valanciunas had 28 of them, or there's 20 plus of them.
20 of them, yeah.
Dude's a beast.
I'm beside myself. I see.
I hear you, man.
I see the Wizards play, and they just don't go for the rebound. And I'm like, do you guys not want extra possessions? That's how you get possession. That's how you win with the ball in your hand. And they're like, oh, no, we're just going to let Russ do it. But Russ gets tired sometimes. Shit. But I don't know. It really blows me. I feel like we should go out and get LaMarcus Aldridge or DeMarcus Cousins. Hello. I would love to have him in the middle of the paint. He would stretch the floor in a different way, towards the paint, because everyone else is at the 3-point line. So, we got to do something about rebounding. That's my biggest bone to pick. Bradley Beal's on fire like always. So, I really only watch him and for Denny and Rui, to be honest, and Russ, obviously. But, man, it breaks my heart with the big men.
Yeah, Aldridge would be a nice little piece for the Wizards. And, I mean, like I said, they were doing pretty well. I know they had, only, 3-4 in their last 7 or whatever, like you mentioned. But before that, they had put together a strong stretch of games. Yeah. I mean, as far as big men, they're really missing Thomas Bryant. He was amazing for them to start the season. But we'll get to some Aldridge next team odds later in the show, and maybe we'll talk up the Wizards maybe making a run at the playoffs. We'll see. All right, let's jump into some of our best bets and our Monkey Knife Fight props. You got the Monkey Knife Fight list in front of you there?
Yep. So the Zion Williamson is over under 28.5 points against Minnesota. Carl Anthony against New Orleans is over under 25.5 points. I'm gonna say under for Zion and over for Carl Anthony. I think these should be reversed, to be honest. I'm
actually gonna go opposite. Zion's been on fire recently. That's I believe 28 points is his last 10-game average. So that's what they're giving to you right there. And I think he's going to hit the over. New Orleans, man, they've been scoring a lot. and scoring a lot. I think there'll be plenty of opportunities for Zion. Give me the over for Zion, and I'm going to say under for Karl Anthony. So I'm actually going to go opposite there. That one is paying, was it 3x payout? So if you guys get an opportunity, jump over to monkeyknifefight.com, use our promo code to the Hizzy when you sign up, and they'll match your deposit 100% up to $50. What's the next one?
Next one up is Clint Capella, over under 14.5 rebounds. Kyle Lowry is over under 8.5 assists.
I'm actually going to go over for Clint. I know that's still a tall number, but Clint is always racking in plus double digit plus rebounds. Toronto tonight, they're going to be out with Siakam, no OG Anunoby again. Those guys are out with COVID. Fred VanVleet as well, but he's not usually cleaning up rebounds. So yeah, give me Capella. And what was the number for the other one?
8.5 for Kyle Lowry. 8.5 assists.
8.5 assists. I don't know. That's a tough
one.
I mean,
under with all the injuries that you just mentioned, or sorry, not injuries, the COVID protocol. Right. With them being out, man, there's a reason why people are starters and not stars in the NBA. Like, there's a big difference. So I think the assist numbers will be a little bit lower for Lowry.
I mean, Powell will put up points. Boucher will put up points coming off the bench. It's just really like, will Lowry find the open shooters? And I'm going to say no. So I'll take the under there as well. Yeah.
Next one up is Drew Holiday, over under 5.5 assists. RJ Barrett, over under 16.5 points.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Yeah, I really like the Knicks tonight, so I'm going to say the over for RJ Barrett. I think the Knicks are going to cover, and I think they could actually come close to shocking and upsetting the Bucks tonight. What was the other total? What was the other number?
5.5 assists for Drew Holiday.
I'll say the over.
Yeah, I'm going to say that's a low number, especially with how three-point oriented the team is. Those quick shots, find one pass and get it off. RJ Barrett, I'm going to say the over on that as well. He's really been coming into his own this year. I've been kind of impressed with what I've been seeing from him. So I'm going to say over on the 16.5 points.
Yeah, I agree with you on Holiday, too. I think he can just grab some easy assists, finding Middleton for easy open looks. I mean, if he can find Giannis in transition, on the fast break, no one's even going to try to stop those. They're just going to let him, all right, go ahead. We're not going to foul you. Go ahead. You know what I mean? So I think he can get some easy ones. Give me the over 5.5 there as well.
So next one up is James Harden, over under 28.5 points, and Tatum over under 24.5 points.
Give me the over. I mean, I like the over just in general in that game. So I think there's going to be plenty of scoring. Marcus Smart is coming back tonight for Boston. Maybe that is a little bit more trouble for Harden, but I still think he hits over the prop. They're still obviously without Kevin Durant, so they need someone to really push the scoring. I think it'll be Harden in a really good matchup. And Tatum, yeah, I always trust him to hit a number like that.
I'm going to say over on both. I mean, Harden's one of the best, ISO guys in the NBA and also almost in history. It's incredible. And he gets a lot of free throws. So that will definitely feed into those points. Tatum, even with Smart coming back, Smart's not exactly the scoring guy. If you look at the numbers for the Boston Celtics, Tatum and Brown are head and shoulders above in scoring above everyone else. I don't think anyone else is in double digits. That was the last.
I look at him as more of a defensive threat. That's what I was saying. There's a little bit of upside for Harden to hit the under because he'll have some solid defense in front of him. Kemba Smart, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart. Coming off the bench. His first game back. I expect him to find a spot back in the starting lineup at some point. But they're rolling with Thies and Tristan Thompson down low. I kind of expect Thies and Tristan Thompson to kind of operate out of that 5 spot once Smart comes back. Roll Jaylen Brown and Tatum into the 3 and 4, and I think they'll get a really solid outcome out of it, or production out of it. Similar to how they started the year, much better than they have been recently. Anyways, was that the last one?
Yeah, that was the last one.
Okay, let's jump over to the game previews. I know that was it Charlotte and Detroit have already started, but we got the Magic and the Heat. We're looking at a 9-point spread here for the Heat over the Magic. The Magic, they are getting Aaron Gordon back tonight, but I still don't love them to win this one. But I feel like 9 points is a bit much. Miami, they've been really hot, though, 7-3 ATS in their last 10. What do you think about this one? Can Miami cover? They're huge odds to win, minus 450 on the money line to the Orlando Magic, plus 360. You like any of those numbers?
Oh, crap. I was actually looking at the wrong game. I had Detroit and Charlotte up. I apologize.
That's all right. That one already started.
Yeah. So with Orlando, man, I'm sorry. I'm really unprepared this time.
It's all good.
Matchup. So with Miami, I mean Miami's kind of they're disappointing to me in a way because I thought that they were going to take a lot of momentum from last year being in the bubble. But as the season's kind of like gone on, and I do think that injuries have played a part into it. Hero was out for a long time. But I'm gonna say that Orlando gets the upset tonight. Even though Orlando has owned 5 straight up in their last 5 games, they're seven and three. They're 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 games against Miami. But I don't know. I think that the Orlando is going to upset Miami. There's just like some nights that teams don't have it. I don't know. I'm feeling Magic tonight.
Yeah, like I said, I like Miami. They're just the trendier pick right now. I don't know if I want them to cover, but obviously the win is there. The total is at 210. That's pretty low, honestly, for these two teams. Aaron Gordon coming back from injury. They're starting Dwayne Bacon at the 2. He's actually a pretty good shooter. Michael Carter-Williams is back. He's rolling at the 1. So I feel like he'll be able to distribute the ball pretty well. And I think that we can go over the total of 210. What do you think?
The trends are not your friend today. Total has gone under in 6 of Miami's last 9 games against Orlando, and the total has also gone under in 5 of Miami's last 7 games. They are not an over team. I'm going to say it's going to hit the under on this one.
Yeah, fair enough. Both teams are 5-5 over under in their last 10, so I just saw it pretty evenly there between the two. So I'll take the over. I think it's just too low a number, and it's the lowest one on the board. Always a ton of scoring here in the NBA.
That's true.
Next one up, we got Philadelphia 76ers traveling to Chicago. I know the 76ers are going to be without Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. We're looking at a 3.5-point spread here on the ATS across the spread. Bulls are minus 152 on the money line. I'm going to take the Bulls and the points on this one. I think that their offense has just been rolling. Zach LaVine's been really hot across his last 10 games, been scoring, been distributing. The Bulls play really good perimeter defense, and I think that's what the 76ers will need tonight to really go over the top and keep up with the really consistent Bulls offensive pace. Do you like the 76ers at the plus 3.5, or can the Bulls pull it out?
I think the Bulls are going to pull it out because they are – with Philadelphia's without Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. So that's like their team, that's what their offense is built on.
Their identity.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to say that that Chicago is going to win this game due to the other team not having it, having their guys. But I'm going to say it's going to go to the under. I agree. So some trends here where total has gone under in 4 of Chicago's last 6 games against Philadelphia. And then total has gone under in 4 of Chicago's last 5 games against an Eastern Conference opponent. So all the numbers are pointing to like an under for this one, especially with the top stars for Philadelphia being out.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, the Bulls play really good perimeter defense. That's what the starters for the 76ers do really well, at least the guys they have tonight. Milton, Danny Green, who am I forgetting? Seth Curry, Seth Curry, and Tobias Harris. So all those guys shoot really well from the outside. I think they'll have a little bit more difficulties this evening. The total was 228, so we're both going to take the under there. I'm going to take the Bulls to outright win. I think they can cover, but I just like them to outright win. Don't play around with the total. The Bulls really don't love to play defense, so the 76ers could pull off a nice little fourth quarter stretch to push the number and potentially the cover of 3.5. Next up, I've got, Minnesota and New Orleans, looking at an 8-point spread going towards the home team in the Pelicans, minus 360 on the money line. 238. Who do you got here?
I'm going to take New Orleans. I just think that Minnesota is a very bad team, especially with even with Karl Anthony Towns. I think he is a legitimate center in this league. Maybe a little bit needed more on the defensive end, but anyway, they are without D'Angelo Russell. They're without Malik Beasley. They're really only depending on Karl Anthony Towns, so it's like his first 2 years in the league. So I'm going to say that the Pelicans are going to win tonight. I'm going to say the over as well. One thing that I like that I saw a stat about, Lonzo Ball has made almost 30 more 3-point field goals than Trae Young. That's a very interesting stat. I was kind of jaw dropped. I was like, oh man, he got his he got his shot together. That was a weird shot rookie year, but if he's making them, I mean, it's something's working.
I guess so. I'd love to see the comparisons between the two. I mean, I don't have a lot of love for Lonzo Ball.
Well, I mean, I get you.
Check out some of his recent game logs here while we go through this. But I mean, Minnesota's just bad. I mean, keep it simple. It's like 0-9 and 0-9 ATS in their last 9 games. When was the last time they won a game? Actually, I'm trying to 1-9 last 10 straight up. 3-16 on the road. New Orleans, they love to go to the over. They love to score. They're only 4-6 in their last 10, but I trust them in this one to cover 8 points. I actually think they can do it. I think they can. They'll create some separation late in the game, but I think there will be some back and forth early on. And let's give some love to Minnesota and Anthony Edwards. He's been a pleasant little surprise for them. So I think he'll be really involved. Yeah, I think he'll be really involved tonight. Vanderbilt, Karl Anthony Towns. I think they keep it close, but Pelicans will cover. I think they'll get the 8 late in the game. Minus 360 on the money line. They're not giving us a ton of value there. 238. You're taking the over?
Yeah, I'm going to take the over. I think that New Orleans is going to be able to generate the points needed. In terms of like the comparisons between Trae Young and Lonzo Ball. So Trae Young has attempted 225, made 85 for a percentage of 37.8. Lonzo has made 99 on 256 for a percentage of 38.7. That's crazy.
And what about total scoring? What's the difference there?
Total scoring. So Ball has scored 480 points. Trae Young has scored 897. Right. So I'm guessing it's free throws. Yeah,
and Trae is just shooting less threes. I mean, like,
yeah, but that was a stat that like kind of jaw dropped me because I thought that Trae Young was like almost like Steph Curry next generation, you know.
All right, I'm still going to take the under in this one. I think that's just too tall a number, especially for the Timberwolves, who are just bad. I mean, Timberwolves are 4-1 in their last 5. To hit the over, I get it. I just don't think they come out, awake to start the second half. They've just been really bad. Worst team in the NBA. Right now, they're working on getting that first overall draft pick for next year.
Oh, again.
Next up, we got New York Knicks traveling to Milwaukee. The Knicks right now plus 11 on the spread. Give it to me. I absolutely love it. Knicks 7-3 in their last 10, covering the spread. 7-3 straight up. They've been playing really well. 4-1 ATS in their last 5, scoring a lot. Over's been hitting 4 out of their last 5 games. Give me the Knicks here. I think they're also another sneaky option to upset. Plus 460. It's a little bit dangerous, but I'm just going to take them to cover the 11. I think that's easy money tonight. What do you think?
I like the covering. They're 4-1 in their last 5 against the spread. They're 9-3 against the spread in their last 12 games this season. Like they're covering and double digits. And it's kind of crazy the double digit thing because they're like a defensive based team with Thibodeau being there. And I will say that it seems that the defense has been elevated in New York. From what I've seen, and the younger guys are kind of like buying in and stuff. So 11 points for them to cover that. I'm going to take the Knicks to cover that.
I'm all about it. I'm going to take the Knicks to just upset tonight. I think they can do it. I mean, Milwaukee, I do agree that they're the better team, but they're only like 6-4 in their last 10. They've been struggling at times. Been able to put unable to put back-to-back wins together. So I'm going to trust the Knicks a little bit more tonight. Give me the upset and give me the cover. 223 is the total. What do you think? Can we hit it?
Yeah. No. Because the Knicks are more of a defensive based team. Total has gone, or for the Knicks, total has gone under in 7 of New York's last 8 games on the road. That's a good enough trend for me. And I think that they're going to be able to shut them down to get that upset.
All right, fair enough. I'm going to take the under as well. Next up, we've got Dallas Mavericks traveling to Oklahoma City. The spread is now at -1.5. It's been worked all the way down from about 6 points. Luka and Porzingis are both out of this game. Any love still for the Mavericks? I actually bet on them at -2, and I thought those two were going to be playing. Unfortunately not. I also took the under for Luka in a prop total tonight. Hopefully Monkey Knife Fight will give me that because he's not going to be playing, so he's not going to hit the points. But I did have SGA. That was one of my props tonight. SGA over 23.5 points. I'm all about that. I got to go back on my pick here, and I got to take OKC to cover. What do you think?
I'm gonna say OKC wins.
Yeah.
It's pretty bare outside of those two. In terms of like star power, like
Sure.
when I love playing 2K, and when I play with Dallas, when Porzingis is out, the big men are just terrible.
Right.
That just kind of shows like when they're out, it's kind of hard. But I don't like the team outside of them. So I think that OKC, they have like Dort, they have SGA.
Mhm.
Those guys are coming in and they're making a name for themselves, and I think that they're going to get the win today.
Yeah, I think it's still going to be a close game. I think I like just the taking the under 215. OKC 9-3 in their last 12 to the under. Dallas, they're going to struggle at some points. I do think that some of their guys could go off for them. I like Maxi Kleber. I like Jalen Brunson. I think they do have some guys that can put together some points, but I don't think it's going to be all game long. So, my best bet now is just to take the under the 215. If I have to make a pick, it's going to be OKC to cover the points because I do believe they can just outright win.
Yeah, me too.
Next up, we got Golden State traveling to the Clippers, traveling to Los Angeles. Spread right now is at 7 points. Minus 285 for the Clippers on the money line, plus 240 for the Warriors. Over under is at 229. Warriors are kind of middle of the run. They're 19-18, 5-5 in their last 10. They haven't been very consistent. I mean, they'll be pretty much at what they call full health without Klay Thompson tonight. Steph, Oubre, Danny Green or Draymond Green, sorry, and Wiseman, starting. I can't really pick them to win. I'm going to take the Clippers to cover. They haven't been great either. 4-6 in their last 10, 4-6 ATS in their last 10. But I'm going to take the Clippers to cover. I think that they'll create separation late in the game. What do you think?
I'm going to say that the Golden State Warriors win. Just because like when I was like looking at the Clippers, I saw that they had like very high offensive output, but their rebounding numbers were like wizard-like. And that I know Zubac is there, and he is kind of like coming into his own. Ibaka's there, but Ibaka's not really that rebounder like he was when he was younger. I think that the bigger guys for Golden State, as Draymond Green and James Wiseman, they'll be able to make some extra possessions just because they're a better rebounding team. So I'm going to say that the Golden State Warriors win. I'm going to say
Don't the win.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the Warriors win, and I'm gonna say that they, so they win. That's it. They cover the spread.
I'm going to take the under as well. The under is 15-22 for the Clippers season long. Golden State, what is it, 6-1 in their last 7 hitting the under. So I'm going to go that direction as well. Just play with the trends on that one.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
Yeah. Next up, we got a really bad matchup. Another one, Houston Rockets going to Sacramento. Minus 5.5 on the spread going towards the Kings. Minus 215 on the money line towards the Kings. Plus 185 for the Rockets. Over under is at 231. I'm going to take the under on this one and sit back and see who wins. I have no dog in the fight. Houston's been bad. Sacramento's been bad. I think Sacramento's a little bit better. I don't trust them to cover, so I guess give me the Rockets on the spread. I think it'll be a close game. Rockets are getting back Oladipo. I'm not sure if we have any confirmation if Eric Gordon's back, but they're missing Christian Wood still, and this team is just not the same without him.
Yeah, give me the Kings to win. It's really sad what's happening in Houston. Like, they got John Wall and people get excited about that, but he really just kind of made like a lateral move in terms of like standings from east to west. And without Christian Wood being there, that was like kind of going to be their identity of their team because he was cooking. So I'm gonna say that it's going to go the over. I'm gonna say that Sacramento wins. Do I think Houston will cover 5.5? Yeah, I'm gonna say Houston does cover just because both teams are so terrible. There's not gonna be a lot of defense in this game. So give me the over. Houston covers, but Sacramento wins.
Yep, I absolutely agree. And give me the under the 231.
Yep.
Next up, last game we got the Phoenix Suns and the Trailblazers. Phoenix coming to Portland, minus 4.5 on the spread for the Suns, road favorites, minus 175 road favorites, Phoenix Suns, and plus 155 on the money line for the Trailblazers. Totals at 226. What do you think?
I've been impressed with both these teams. Portland has kind of become like the consistent team in the West. That's not exactly like the elite tier, but they're always like, third, fourth, kind of like that round.
Mm-hmm.
And the Phoenix Suns with Chris Paul coming there has done wonders. Like, it's incredible what's happened in Phoenix. I thought that organization was going to go down with COVID. But I'm going to say it's going to be Portland that wins. I
Mm-hmm.
think that there's just a little bit more maturity on that team. And I think that it's going to go the over because I think that these teams are going to have to score a lot of points to be able to overcome each other's firepower.
Okay, fair enough. I'm gonna go with Phoenix. To me, they've just been on fire, been rolling. Chris Paul, Devin Booker, they found their stride. They're just a more complete team. They're a little bit deeper right now. Portland, they're missing some guys. If McCollum was in this matchup, I'd be feeling a lot more comfortable picking them.
Oh man,
I'm going to take the Suns to cover, win, and I'm going to take the over. I think there's plenty of scoring available tonight. Plenty of scoring. What are you at on the total?
I'm gonna say the over. But I am switching my pick because I forgot that McCollum was out. I haven't looked at the injury report. I apologize on that. So I'm switching to Phoenix. That's a big loss. I mean, Dame is great, but the NBA has shown it's really hard to win with one player, especially if the other team has some, elite talent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I expect Carmelo, Robert Covington, Cantor. They'll get in the mix. They'll get in there. They'll mix it up for sure. But
12, 15 points.
Phoenix just a better team right now. Even on the road, I trust them a lot more. We'll park back into some live betting options here in a bit, but now let's jump into LaMarcus Aldridge. Let's go to his next team odds. I know that you'd like the Wizards. I know you'd like it, but based on the odds, we're looking at Boston Celtics plus 200, Miami Heat plus 250, Charlotte Hornets plus 400, and the Trailblazers plus 400. I like those options, specifically the Trailblazers, who we were just talking about. I think the Celtics would be awesome too. I think that would give them a very complete lineup. I mean, give them a lot more depth too. They already have Thies, Tristan Thompson, Robert Williams, really parking it down in the lane. So of these teams, who do you like here, or any of the teams that I didn't list that are on the odds list?
I like maybe the Clippers. They've made some splashes with Kawhi, Paul George, and stuff. But when you look at that team, there's not a third option. Those two guys are running stuff. They need a big man. That's kind of how it's shown. If these super teams are to be made, it's going to be two guards and one big man. If that's possible, then you can go with a lot of teams. So I'm going to say the Clippers just because there's a huge opening there. Every other team, if you really think about it, like Charlotte, I would be like, man, I'd be kind of interested in that, but they're on the way up, but they're not going to be where he needs to be to win a championship. Like he's getting up there in age, so I don't think that I don't think Popovich would do that to LaMarcus. That's just what I think. I think he's trying to send him to a contender, and I think Clippers are probably the best bet, and maybe he can get back some pieces that can help the Spurs in the future.
Maybe he just wants to make the league minimum and go to the Nets like everybody else.
Man, I kind of lose respect for LaMarcus at that point because it's just like, man, like you're going somewhere where really you're not needed, and I'd rather if you're gonna go to a super team, play. Like you got to play, and like if you go there just to ride the coattails, like you cannot tell me that Shady McCoy is like really cool for winning 2 Super Bowls and not playing a single snap. Like that's not cool. He got him, but he didn't really play or anything. I don't want that for LaMarcus. LaMarcus has had a great career, and I would love to see him in the Clippers with the Clippers because I think that the Clippers need a big man to make a run against the Lakers. Meet them in the Western Conference Finals. Like when you look at the Lakers, they're way bigger than everyone else. Like I was like jaw dropped when I was watching the finals last year. Like it was like the Monstars. Like I was like, what is this? Like this is a different game. And if you want to go against them and be able to contend for the finals, you got to have size, and he can help bring that size to the Clippers.
Yeah, I agree. I also like the Trailblazers a lot. Like I mentioned, I think they're just missing that extra guy down in the paint. Enes Kanter's been asked to do a lot. I think if they were able to get that extra layer down there, I think they would be doing sitting right. They're a 4 seed right now in the conference, so they're right up there. Or actually, they're 5th. I think they're just behind the Clippers for the 4 seed. So they're up there. They're getting in the mix, fighting for home court in the NBA playoffs. So I think that'd be another good spot. The Lakers were on there, the Nets, any of these other big favorites that you like, playoff favorites, the Suns. I don't think it fits for the Suns.
Yeah, I look through these teams and think about the fit. The only other team that I really think that he could go to is Boston. Because you were talking about
favorite.
You were talking about Thies and Williams, but they aren't the biggest. Like I think Thies is 6'10", but he's a really stretch 4. Like I haven't been impressed with his rebounding, and I think that if they actually got a guy that can play, the mid range game and be available for those rebounds, it could change their team. Like I think Boston, if they got LaMarcus, they could really run it. Like they could dominate the East. But we'll see. Miami, they're connected with everybody. Like I hear them connected to everybody. That doesn't even register with me. But other than that, it'd be Boston or Los Angeles Clippers for me.
What about Andre Drummond to any of these teams? Still not on a new team yet.
Andre Drummond.
I still like the Celtics. I mean, to land either of those guys. Clippers, cool, man. Whew.
I mean, like he could definitely help them. Like I heard that he doesn't. An NBA exec said that he actually doesn't impact the game. Like he'll drop 30 and 20 and have zero impact on the win-loss result. But I think
it's kind of harsh.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, dang, like I think Drummond's actually a pretty good guy in terms of play. I think that the Clippers could use him. Like the Clippers and Boston are the only 2 teams here that I would see like needing a big guy that could take them to the next level. Like they're going to be fighting with with Boston, they're going to be fighting with Miami, they're going to be fighting with Charlotte, and they're going to be struggling because they don't have that big guy. All these other teams, they at least have a big guy there that can help them and don't exactly need LaMarcus there. So I see those Boston Celtics and the Clippers to have the absolute need for these 2 guys.
Yeah, I agree. I would love to see Drummond in either of those places, the Clippers or the Celtics. Just not the Nets. No more, stars going to the Nets.
No more to the Nets. I'm done with that.
What do you think about Blake Griffin? You think it's going to matter? Think his production's going to hike? He's going to be fantasy relevant?
I saw something on I think it was Twitter or Instagram or something like that. Someone had screen recorded a workout of him before the season, and he was dunking and doing his normal stuff. And they were talking about how he tried to play his way out, almost not care. I think that he is going to make a little. I'm not saying a difference, but I'm saying he's going to make an impact. I think he brings that vertical ability to the team. Someone that can bring that thunder, but I got to see it to believe it at this point. He really went down.
I'm going to stash him.
Yeah, I mean, buy low, sell high right now. But I think that he needs to really play a different style of game to really win back the fans, because what happened in Detroit and then him not having a dunk the entire season was mind-blowing. That's wild. I remember.
Like you said, maybe just not trying, just trying to get out of there.
Yeah, I mean, he was dunking over cars, and that's man, what the heck is going on here? So I think he is going to make an impact, but not exactly a difference like KD will, Harden will, and Kyrie will.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, Joe Harris and Jeff Green have been solid for them too down the stretch. Bruce Brown, he's been awesome for them. Someone that I've been riding his coattails for a while, picking him up weeks ago, probably almost a month now. I've had him on my roster. So let's do that. Let's jump into some fantasy waiver wire guys. First guy I got up is Justin Patton, center for the Houston Rockets. He's only 6% rostered. I think he should be owned at least until Christian Wood gets back. His last 3 games, 10, 6, and 10 on points. Rebounds 6, 6, and 5. Those are solid enough for me. It can go either way. It could be 5 points, 10 rebounds. I think he's a solid enough ad. If you're in the hunt for some rebounds, need some potential blocks as well. He's got 5 blocks in his last 3 games. I think there's enough value there. What do you think?
7 steals in those last 2 games. That's awesome.
I didn't even see that. 7 steals in his last 2. That's pretty solid. Grabby.
Definitely pick him up. I would say he's kind of working his way to being a defensive specialist. 10 points, as a big guy, that's kind of your role. And he's making noise elsewhere. I mean, 10, 6, 4, and 4 steals and a block. Like he's making his way. So I definitely put him on the team. I wouldn't depend on him at this time, but he would definitely be someone good to fill in when your starter isn't playing.
Yeah, absolutely. The next one up, we got Shaq Milton for the 76ers. Starting tonight, we'll see what we get out of him, but I think he's worth a grab if he's still available. Ben Simmons is going to be coming back from the COVID quarantine if he gets back into the lineup tomorrow, but he'll need another negative test. But Milton was doing really well, to start the season. He did have a bit of a stretch where his production went down. He was definitely a droppable player in fantasy, but I think you got to get him again. He's 22% owned. 7% plus more in the last week or so, or last day, I'm sorry. 12, 26, and 11 for his last 3 games for points. Mixes in some assists, few steals here and there. Can grab some rebounds. Never, really high totals on the rebounds. Pretty volatile. Could get you 2, could get you 7. I think he's worth an ad, though. I think he's going to be needed, for scoring off the bench when Simmons comes back. And tonight he'll definitely be getting some usage and maybe some more tomorrow.
I agree. I've seen no lies there. All the stats are pretty much Michael Carter Williams. He's 22% rostered, 8% in the last day. In the last 5 games, he's had double-digit scoring, 20, 18, and then 1 game of 5, and then 2 games of 11. In the 20 and 18 games, he had 6 rebounds, 8 rebounds, and then 6 assists in both. Also added 3 steals through it. Does have some turnovers, but he keeps it, pretty much around 2 or 1. So I would say definitely roster him.
Yeah, and the free throw percentage is there. He's getting to the line. He'll sprinkle in 1 or 2 3-pointers every now and again. So I definitely think he's a solid ad. 22% rostered right now. I like it a lot. Who's the next one?
Kelly Olynyk. How do you say his name? Olynyk. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know why he's not owned more.
Yeah, he gets a lot of run, to be completely honest, and he is a good shooter. Yeah. He made 4 3-pointers in the last game. Scored 18 points, got 10 rebounds. And that was against New Orleans. And he also gets some steals. The game before that against Atlanta, he got 4 steals. He definitely fills the stat sheet in a way to give you some points to, push you over that edge. I would say he should be rostered more too.
Yeah, I agree. Only 30% rostered, only 2% difference across the last day. Very, very consistent at the free throw line, makes open looks, gets rebounds, gets assists. I don't know what's not to like about Kelly Olynyk. He should be rostered in every league. I don't get it. Next guy up, I got Maxi Kleber for the Dallas Mavericks, 17% rostered. Definitely a streaky guy. Not necessarily someone you need to own all year, but 11 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists in his last game, 8, 7, and 1 the game before that, 13, 6, and 1, 3 steals and 2 blocks in that game. So he adds a little bit of more on defense. I know he's going to be getting a lot of minutes tonight, so the numbers are going to look good. I think you go out and get him before anyone else can. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, with Porzingis being out, he could definitely be a nice little grab. And then he has been showing improved points with having double digits, the 11 and 13 in 3 games. So I would say he'd be an ad, but don't depend on him just yet. Let him get a little bit more consistency in terms of like his scoring, maybe a little bit more consistency in rebounding too.
Yeah, I definitely think he's more of a streaky ad, streaming option. Last guy we got up is Robert Williams, center for the Boston Celtics. 10, 7, and 1 in his last game, 13, 8, and 4, 6, 6, and 2. So you kind of see that volatility there. But the game before that, 14, 11, and 4. He adds, almost 9 blocks in his last 4 games. Wow, that's a lot.
This guy's an athlete, man. Like I've seen him like reach all the way back and just slam an alley-oop. Like I love this guy. I would add him just to, give me reason to watch him. And him having, double-digit rebounding and touching with 7 and 8 in the past 2 games. And then also having double-digit scoring. I love that. And then his last game, he did have he went for 100 at the stripes. So I love the guy. I would definitely have him on my roster.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all about Robert Williams. Blake wrote an article about him not that long ago, trying to get everybody on the bandwagon. Hopefully, you guys did. If you guys have a moment, please be sure to like and share the video and follow the channel, youtube.com/2thehizzy. We're going to jump into some live betting updates here. First game up that we actually didn't get to preview, Detroit Pistons at Charlotte, visiting the Hornets. Right now, Hornets are up 48-39. They are covering the pregame spread, which I think was just like a handful of points, like 5 or 6. Right now, the spread is plus 8.5 to the Pistons, minus 8.5 to the Hornets. Total in this game is 195.5. Wow. We are at halftime with a 48-39 score. Pistons only scored 17 points in the second quarter. Hornets only scored 18, so they slowed down quite a bit. Do we get multiple 30-plus point scoring quarters from either team? Are they going to just rock it over the total, or are we really going to drive a low number here?
I think that we're going to drive a low number. Yeah, I'm not really impressed with what I'm seeing on the scoring side with them. Yeah, it sucks, but Charlotte is a better team than Detroit. I just think that they don't have to play to their elite level to get a win today. Sure.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna go just over the 195. I do think they'll pick up the scoring a little bit, but I am gonna have the Hornets cover the 8.5. Next up, an exciting one. We got the Celtics over the Nets right now, 29-23. Celtics are minus 1.5 on the spread. Nets plus 1.5. Over under right now is at 228. We're just starting the second quarter. First quarter, same score. So what do you think? I'm gonna go under that total, still under 228, and Nets on the plus 1.5.
I'm gonna say the over. Almost 30 points in the first quarter. That's kind of hot for Celtics. And it only takes 25 points a quarter to get to 100.
Nets will pick it up too, I'm sure.
Yeah. So I think that they're both on a pretty torrid pace for the over.
All right, what do you think about the spread? Who's going to come out on top here? I mean, it's razor thin.
What's the spread again? I'm sorry.
1.5 plus to the Nets. Plus to the Nets.
I can see the Celtics covering that. It's only 2 points, so I think that's possible with them. I don't think it's gonna be that close.
I don't trust the Celtics on the road to cover. They're just, if they're at home, hey, right there with you. But they just hate covering on the road. Next up, I got the Hawks over the Raptors, visiting the Raptors. Hawks are minus 8.5 on the spread. 235.5 is the total. Right now, we have 7:13 left in the second quarter. Raptors are up 13-11. I'm thinking the over 235 here. There's a lot of scoring going on here. Hawks put up 37 alone in the first.
I'm going to say yes to the over. That's a really high pace. Your boy Clint Capella, he's got 8 rebounds already. So
what's up?
That's the first half of the second quarter. So he's on a torrid pace too. He might end up with 20.
He's going to hit over that 14 we called earlier. So that's going to happen.
Absolutely.
That's going to happen.
So yeah, give me the over. And I'm going to say that the Hawks cover. The Hawks are the minus option.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm going to say they cover.
Yeah, I still say they cover that. They've blown that number up a little bit, but I'm still comfortable with it. These other games have just kind of started off. Magic over the Heat, 7-5. That one's just starting. 7.5 spread right now. Wow, that's a really early one. Plus 7.5 to the Magic. I don't hate that. Over under is at 208. Halfway. 8:20 left in the first, and it's 7-8. So now the Heat are up. Just like that. Don't know what happened.
Duncan Robinson.
210 is right. 210 is the now updated total. I'm still going to say the over here. I know I picked earlier the over. Gave me some slack for it, but I'm still going to say the over. I think they get it going.
Yeah, give me the over.
Heat and the T-Wolves, or I'm sorry, the Pelicans and the T-Wolves. Pelicans up 11-4. Yeah, we're not going to jump too far into these. So let's see here. We got the advanced stats article that we dropped today. Let me pull that up, go through some of our notes. See if we can't buy a little bit more time on some of these games. So player efficiency rating, that's been pretty locked up. Nikola Jokic, I mean, I don't know why he's not higher in MVP ballots. I think it's just because of the lack of success from his team. But he's leading the way at 31.5 player efficiency rating. That's the measure of per minute production standardized that the league averages at 15. Essentially just totals all of your positive stats versus all of your negative stats, and it brings it to an average. So Jokic, Embiid, Giannis, Zion Williamson at 4. I guess I'll kind of start with him. I think this guy's going to be an MVP candidate next season. He completely leapt into this position here. Across his last 10 games, he's averaging 28.7 points, 8.3 rebounds, and 4.7 assists. So like I said earlier, his 10-game average was the 28.5. That's exactly where they put his prop from a Monkey Knife Fight. I'm saying he's going to hit that tonight. He's going to hit the over. But what do you think about the future of Zion here? I mean, he's really starting to flourish.
About time. I mean, the hype on him was so high, and it almost seemed like it was unattainable for him to get to that level. But he's starting to come into his own. He's starting to feel the NBA game. I wish nothing for success for him. I mean, we've been watching him dunk on people since high school, so I'm glad that we're not talking about him being a bust. We're talking about him advancing into the MVP conversation. That's how first overall picks are supposed to go.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially once they hit their third year. KD, LeBron, third season in the league, they won their MVP, or at least had strong runs for him. I like it a lot. I think he's going to be a star to come. I think, like I said, he's going to be the MVP conversation for next year. Some other names on the list, Kawhi Leonard, Dame Lillard, Doncic, Jimmy Butler. That's surprising. Jimmy Butler wasn't in the recent updates. He's nearly averaging a triple-double across his last 10 games. So big reason why I was all over the Heat tonight to take home that matchup. Switching over to true shooting percentage, Chris Boucher was a nice little surprise. He's at number 5. I think he's a nice sell high candidate right now. His production is going off the charts because of those guys that we mentioned at the top of the show that are out, right? Van Fleet, Anunoby, and Siakam. With them out of the lineup, his production's been able to skyrocket. If you can catch someone asleep at the wheel, I think you definitely got to sell high on him. What do you think about a guy like Joe Harris or Joe Ingles? They're in the top 5 right now. You want to hold on to those guys in fantasy, Nick, or you want to maybe sell them off?
No, I'm holding on to Joe Ingles, man. Sleepy Joe is one of the best. I love that guy. He's, I feel like he's just underestimated so much, and that's why he's always so open. He doesn't play an explosive game, but he just knows how to move around the court and get to those open shots. So I'm going to keep Joe Ingles, and I'm going to drop Joe Harris, just because when.
Don't drop him.
Well,
just sell him.
I thought it was kind of like an ad drop kind of thing. If I could,
I gotcha.
But with everyone coming in, all the star power, there's going to be less opportunities for Joe Harris. He is going to, percentage isn't about total attempts or whatever, but it's just going to affect his rhythm in a way. He kind of fell into a rhythm last season and coming into this season. Now all these stars are coming, and now he's taking even more of a backseat. So I'm going to say, Joe Ingles, I definitely want to keep on my team. Joe Harris, I'm probably going to steer away from.
Yeah, I would try to sell Joe Harris if I can. I mean, get a little cheap ad for him if you can. Flip him from somebody, because Kevin Durant's going to come back soon, and a lot sooner than I thought. I was thinking they'd be holding him out for a while, but they're talking less than a handful of games he's going to be back in the lineup. So, yeah, the minutes police are coming, Joe Harris. You're going to be in big trouble. So he's starting at the 4 tonight, I believe. That was wild. So really running the stretch smalls. I know they're running the stretch smalls. I love it. I'm all about it. Hey, stretch the floor. Give Harden options. I don't hate it. Let's move over to total rebounding percentage. Andre Drummond's still the king of this stat, 26.3 total rebound percentage. Hasn't been playing any games. Clint Capella right behind him, 26.1. Enes Kanter all the way down at 22.7 at number 3. Your boy Jonas Valanciunas for the Memphis Grizzlies at 22.7. Cleaned your Wizards up last night. And Rudy Gobert at number 4, 22.7. That top 5 is pretty much gridlocked. Throw in DeAndre Ayton at number 6 in that mix, and those top guys just stay there all year long. Those guys I am willing to go out for and make a trade for in fantasy, especially Andre Drummond. He doesn't even have a team right now. I got to imagine he gets on somebody's roster. If you could get him for cheap, whether you're trading even an injured player, whatever you can pull off to get him on your roster, absolutely go out and try and do it. Any of those other guys that you would target, Nick?
I would say Gobert. He has a lot of defensive prowess, and his arms are long. So, he's always getting into passing lanes and stuff. Him, I would definitely, try and make a trade for if I had to. Enes Kanter, whatever. Tristan Thompson, his rebounding numbers are always sky high. But he needs a little bit more oomph to really impact the game a little bit more. All these other guys, they impact the game in a lot of other ways than just rebounding. So yeah, I would say Gobert is the one guy I would like really target.
I like Zubats as well. He's at number 9, 19.8. He's playing like around 20 minutes a game, less than that, and he's making this top 10. I think he is going to get more minutes with Serge Ibaka probably getting a little bit more rest down the stretch. Preparing for the playoffs. I think last 15 games or so, 20 games, he could be on a minutes watch. Other than that, we'll close it out with usage percentage. Your boy Bradley Beal, he's atop of this thing. I don't see it going away anytime soon. Dropping 30 points, 9 assists a game. He's accounting for anywhere from 42 to 48 total points for the team on a given night. And they're scoring, around 110, 120 right now, like pretty consistently, right? So he's making up literally almost 30 to 40% on a given night. It's absolutely ridiculous. I was saying in my article, this should be the all baller award because you just have to climb over mountains and mountains of talent to be atop this list. And it also means that your team is relying solely on you for their success.
Yes.
So, like I mentioned in the article, before the game, I dropped it. He was 8-2, and the Wizards were 8-2 in their last 10. He's atop the list. I mean, there might be some nights where maybe he's swapping the ranking with Luka, maybe even Embiid because Embiid is so important for the 76ers. So, for me, he's always going to be atop of this, and they should make a trophy for this stat at the end of the year. I don't get it.
I mean that's the best list I've seen on this advanced stats where you just look at the names
talent-wise. Talent-wise, absolutely. Oh my gosh, Bradley Beal, Luka Doncic, Embiid, Giannis, Trae Young, Dame, Damian Lillard, Steph Curry, Donnie Mitchell, LeBron James, Devin Booker. Who isn't here?
Exactly. Yeah. There's no question.
Jokic should be here. He should be in this mix.
What about Kawhi?
With Paul George there, Beverly, they get a lot of ball movement. They, everybody's contributing there. Nick Batum, Serge still, Zubats, who I just mentioned, everybody's touching the ball there. There's a lot of movement.
Gotcha.
Because it's it literally how much total of the point scoring you attribute to. So it's predominantly assists and points. And Kawhi, his assist numbers are just a little bit lower. But you'd think Jokic would be up in here, with all the assists that he racks up. He's kind of a surprise that he's not in here. James Harden could be one because he racks up a ton of points and still grabs anywhere from 8 to 11 assists on a given night. So I expect him to get back up in this mix. But with KD coming back, can't really be too sure. Can't be too sure.
If Russ Westbrook cut down his turnovers by half, he'd probably be top 5.
That'd be crazy to have him and Beal both in there. That'd be nuts.
But it's so noticeable how dependent they are on those two. If you watch Wizards games, you'll see everybody just stops and watch Russ Westbrook, and Westbrook just loves it. He eats it up and slams it and does whatever, but he does do a lot of turnovers. It's pretty bad. But if he cut half of them, I'd say that his numbers would be a little bit higher. And he could possibly break the top 10.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's close down the show with some live betting updates, going over some of the games that had already started when we tried to preview them before. We got the Pelicans over the T-Wolves, 24-10, not looking good. They've moved the total down to 233.5. I'm going to take the under there. What do you think?
Under.
Yeah, agreed. Right now, the spread is at 14.5 points. Are the T-Wolves going to get back in it? Right now, there's a 14-point deficit.
No.
No. Taking the Pelicans to cover 14 points. I want to say the 76ers. I'm getting too ahead of myself. I'm going to say the Timberwolves get within 14. Next up, the 76ers are up over the Bulls, 21-19. 3 minutes left in the first. Right now, 76ers are +2 on the spread. Totals at 226. I'm going to take the under.
Yes.
226.
Under on that. Bulls still win.
Yeah, Bulls still win. I'll take them to get the 2 points here. They're still favorite. They're only down by 2. Let's see here. Knicks and the Bucks. Where are we at? Dang, the Knicks are down by 12. Come on. I got the 10 points. Give me the 10 points. Let's go. So they've adjusted the line to 13.5 points. I'm still taking the Knicks to cover that. Total is at 225.5, and I'll take the under there.
RJ has 6 points. All right.
Looks like RJ hit his should be on pace to hit his prop.
Yeah, I think it is.
Knock on wood. Yeah, so I think they'll hit the under there, 225, and I'm going to take the Knicks absolutely to still cover 13.5, and I still think they cover the original 10 points that I got them at. Opening on the show, they were at 11 points.
I agree.
All right, very good. We're going to be shutting down the show, everybody. Thank you for stopping by. This is Take It to the Hizzy number 117, 117. Tune in this Sunday for our football episode, number 118. Take It to the Hizzy number 118. We're going to be talking up some free agency, talking up the draft. And at the end of the episode, I am paying my dues and shaving my head. Nick had Devontae Parker. I had DJ Shark. Prop went into the last week. It was for receiving yards. Sorry. And Devontae Parker wound up taking it out. So I'm shaving my head. Time to pay up.
Yep. It'll be exciting. See you guys Sunday.
Yep. Take care. Be well, guys.